Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Goots, and I'm here with Kyle. Kyle, how you doing? Kyle Lewis?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, and also Pratik. What's going on, brother?
I can't complain. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And today we are reviewing WWF Over the Edge '98. Interesting show to talk about. I know this is not a video podcast, but I got my Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt in memory of today. But before we go back to 1988, let's talk about this week. Um, the Elimination Chamber pay per view came and went. The big news, of course, Danhausen is here in WWE. And the other big news is Randy Orton won the Chamber match. And this Friday, Cody gets a title shot against Drew. I enjoyed the pay per view, but they need a good SmackDown on Friday because we are very close to WrestleMania, and nothing is that appealing to me. I think Cody and Randy could be kind of okay, but this is shaping up to be probably the most uneventful WrestleMania since 2021, if that, which was just like let's do it to get through it. I felt I when I was watching WrestleMania 2021 37, the vibe I got was this is basically a house show, but we got to just do a show in front of a crowd to say that we can. So, Kyle, what do you think about Elimination Chamber and the road to WrestleMania?
I caught it late. I had shows, but and then I had it on at the bar, but like it was in mute. So I had to watch the Danhausen part over because I saw people talking about the booze. I thought the presentation, the music, giving Def Rebel some credit, which they don't normally get. I thought all that was really nice and fun and like cool to see. I think if he interacted with somebody, like sorry, Miz, to say the Miz, Kyle would have ate it up more. But I think a lot of people had a lot of different expectations, and it just didn't exceed. It didn't hit the expectations. But by Monday, it already seemed fine. So I think it was one of those things. Since it's a Saturday, Sunday, everyone had all day to like complain about it, and then Monday you got to see Danhausen be Danhausen, and it was fine. As for the Chambers, Rhea Jade, that should be interesting. I see where they go with it storyline wise. They already like attacked each other online all day on Monday. And I think we're getting Randy Cody. I think Drew, unfortunately, was only champion for a couple months. Maybe he'll fight Nick Aldis. But I think Randy Cody is the bigger move, the bigger match. It's something that'll actually get people to sink into this WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. No offense to Drew, but it's stupid to have him be the champ going in, unless they were going to do Trick Williams versus Drew and get someone new over. But they don't want to get anyone new over.
I like that they changed up the at least the path, at least because their Manias, they were still like 6 weeks away from Mania, so you needed to do something. So I don't hate that, but it just you just knew he wasn't going to be a champion for long.
That's true. Critique your thoughts on the Chamber show and the road to WrestleMania.
The Chamber show was was solid. I really liked the punk intro with the Chicago Bulls music.
Mm.
That to me was like I didn't get to go, but I'm like, man, that was the one thing where I'm like, that was worth the price of admission. And then the match itself, I was worried about that match just kind of being blasé, but no, but it was a good hard hitting match. I know took a boot to the face and busted it. He got bloody in his hometown, so I was very happy with how that match turned out. I felt the I mean, I'm happy Rhea won, but I felt the women's chamber surprisingly felt a bit more rushed than last year's women's chamber. Like last year's women's chamber felt a little more organic. This one, it felt like once the intros got going, like it was just like boom, 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 boom. And, there were a couple good spots in the women's chamber I like. I thought Raquel made a very good showing with that one, like, I think she like tackled somebody through the pot or whatever. That was a good spot when she did the double pin. So I think my disappointment is more just not that Rhea won. It's that, okay, what are you going to do with Raquel? She had a great showing in that match. Are you going to give her a marquee match? Is she going to get inserted into the Stephanie Liv Morgan feud? Is she going to have her own feud somewhere? I just feel like you have a good showing from someone, you have to capitalize off that showing. And so my disappointment is just more, what are they going to do with Raquel? She looked great in the match. How do you build off of that? Men's match, I think it was good that Cody didn't win. I think it was a bit of a swerve that Randy won, but now I'm like, okay, are we just gonna go to Cody Randy immediately? Like I would rather maybe see a fatal four way with Drew and maybe Jacob or Trick Williams. I was kind of hoping like Trick Williams would somehow insert himself. Whether or not he wins at Mania, I think he just needs a marquee match at Mania. I know they're talking about maybe Trick Williams and Sami Zayn, which maybe that'll go fine. I don't know, but I just think Cody Randy is a bit not stale. I'm sure it's a money match. It's just I feel like you can make it a fatal four way. You don't have to make it a 6 pack or a 5 pack, but you could do a 4 way with somebody, either Drew or Trick or Jacob. Well, somebody new needs to be inserted into the title picture somehow. So those are my concerns, but I'm also happy too with the event itself. I'm just worried about the path to Mania.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing I'm worried about is Tom Brady is not letting this Logan Paul thing go. I don't pay attention to his podcast, but apparently Brady and Logan Paul had a discussion on whether or not wrestlers are tough or not. Tom Brady is still making videos, and what I'm worried about and what I'm concerned is that Tom Brady might wrestle at WrestleMania. Whether it's Logan Paul versus Tom Brady one on one, or I do think the Seth match is going to be a tag match. I think it's going to be Braun and Logan versus Seth and somebody. I'm hoping it's Bad Bunny. If it's Tom Brady, now that I think about it, Seth now is an analyst for the NFL Network. Insane to say that out loud. Maybe I don't think Tom Brady in wrestling is the draw. Maybe I'm wrong because I don't follow football, but I don't think I'd rather watch Seth fight Braun one on one than insert Tom Brady, and I'd rather watch Logan Paul take on fucking Trick Williams than Tom Brady. If it's not Bad Bunny, but I could see TKO and their network partners foaming at the mouth for Tom Brady to get in the ring. Kyle, your thoughts on this disaster?
I didn't even know that was still going on, honestly. I didn't know. I know he called wrestling cute and they had a bunch of retorts. So I wasn't even thinking about him. If so, I mean, why would you bring him out in Vegas? What? I don't know. Whatever. Just whatever. You gotta have some bullshit at WrestleMania, right? So I'll get food when that happens, if that happens.
If
As
it
for
happens.
Raw, if that's as for Rollins, I think they're doing it. I think they are confident that Braun Breaker is gonna be okay to at least wrestle a match, which is why they're having him do everything now, and then Breaker's gonna like spear him and get another hernia because he the fucking runs too damn fast. He's too fast for his own good. But I think they're still gonna try and cram that match in.
By the way, Braun has to win, and I'm not. He has to have a very definitive victory against Seth Rollins. The ship itself, you know how I feel about Seth Rollins. He's the most overrated buffoon they've ever had in the company. It's time. Seth, this year I would sit down Seth and I'll be like, all right, you got to give him a list. Trick Williams, Dominic, Braun, Jacob Fatu, Javon Evans, and Gunther. And I'd be like, he can say no to two, but you're putting over four of these motherfuckers this year. We're getting our investment back on your goofy fucking Joker bullshit. All right. So
Joker
who who
bullshit.
who are you lying down for, bitch? That's my pitch to Seth Rollins entering
I
2020.
don't think they think the same way about Seth Rollins as you do.
Uh, listen, Javon Evans fucking putting Seth Rollins through a fucking glass window is how I want this year to end. I just
Yes.
Maybe in 2K26 that comes out this weekend or
and
soon.
I won't be buying that. Basically, it's a fucking $150 game. And I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet, but that's a whole other
Yeah, it's
conversation.
not on any of the older consoles anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I get it, but I also don't get it. They can go fuck themselves. All right. And you know, again, another big thing about this weekend proved that the internet is not real life. Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer calling Danhausen the new gobbledygooker, and they gobbledygooker him. Last time I checked, a day after Survivor Series 1990, Gobbledygooker didn't have the number one T-shirt in WWE. Okay, like the segment on Monday worked great. Here is the thing with Danhausen. People don't. It's very obvious that a lot of Fed fans are not wrestling fans. They don't watch AEW. They don't need AEW. I think for a lot of people, they don't see the need for a second company. If I'm gonna like when you watch the NBA and your team sucks, you're not like, let me go watch a Triple D basketball. You're just like, oh, my team sucks. I'll watch next year. You know, and I think that's how people treat WWE wrestling. So now people knew Danhausen. Um, I think by Monday though, they got what Danhausen was about, and I think that he is going to be the Hulk Hogan of Santino Morales and be WWE. Kyle, your thoughts?
That is quite a quote. Hopefully in a good way. I mean, he already has part of the black paint on, so I don't want him getting any racial trouble. But no, from all accounts, I know Danhausen is a good guy. Like I've never been like crazy about the gimmick. I've been indifferent. I'm like, all right, do your thing. I'm not disgusted. I don't love it. I'm just like, all right, he's doing the Danhausen thing. Like on Monday, I thought he did a great job. I like the intro. Like I said before,
Yeah, I liked it too.
I like the music. I like the dancers. I liked how like over the top and also underwhelming it was at the same time. So I think he's gonna do fine. Like you say, he has his number one T-shirt. People were talking about when he starts selling the mask, and the kids are gonna love all the weird Danhausen stuff. Um, I think we just live in a society. It's not like speaking of Joker. So we live in a society where we just like are so obsessed and we consume so quickly, and then everybody has to say something, whether that's wrestling, whether that's the Scary Movie 6 trailer, whether that's whatever our president is doing right now, and everybody has a take, especially the way the social media's For You pages are lined up now. You see everybody's take, everybody has to say something. And it's so overwhelming, and a lot of it makes no sense and is stupid, but you just get it in such a large volume that everything seems like it's the end of the world. And was that a good, did it work the first night? No, because they booed him out the building. But it worked Monday. They weren't gonna fire him. But also Meltzer and all those journalists have to sell their newsletters or podcasts or whatever. So they got to make it also seem like the worst thing in the world. So long story short, everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Like there's a
Yeah,
tomorrow. Hopefully there's a tomorrow for these guys.
yes. Yeah, and also like I think the other thing too is that I was watching, and I need to be reminded of this myself. I was watching Chelsea Green's meet and greets, and it's all little kids going up there with the little Chelsea Green hat stuff, and it's like, you know, I've heard wrestling fans argue against this constantly, and I'm just like, you're wrong. Ultimately, this is a show that also has to cater to little kids because the little kids are the ones who are going to get to spend the money. I'll speak. Uh, I know hardcore wrestling fans that sit on the internet all day, argue, watch everything. They don't pay for cable. They don't buy the pay-per-views. They pirate everything. So even though they're talking about all this bullshit, they're not putting a single dollar into the company. So it's like, why should it? And again, I'm more of a hardcore. I'm more of a mindset than them and the kids. Why should it cater to you? You don't put a dollar into this fucking company. You don't put a dollar in anyone's paycheck, but you fucking bitch and moan every 20 seconds. The little kids put money in the paycheck, and I think Danhausen is a great investment for the little kids. Hornswoggle made that company a lot of money, whether you like it or you don't.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't, but I know why he was there.
yeah, Hornswoggle was the number one figure at Ringside Collectibles for years, and they need a character like that, and that's Danhausen. And you can complain, you can moan and groan, but Vince catered to me when I was a little kid, and I'm still buying rubber Hulk Hogan figures. I'm not buying anything with Tully Blanchard. Not that they don't put out anything with Tully Blanchard. I would buy it, exact, but you fucking still have my money, so they have to do shit like that. I'm sorry, Pratik, your thoughts on Danhausen?
Yeah, I mean, I like Danhausen. I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of Danhausen, but I like what he can do comedically. It is entertaining to me. I don't understand why a lot of these AEW internet wrestling fans are just like, oh, you have Ricky Starks in NXT, but you brought Danhausen up to the main roster. I mean, but there's a difference with Danhausen versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is being groomed as like a main eventer, whereas Danhausen is not. He's a mid card act that's going to elevate story. It's not about his wrestling. It's about the character and about the angles. And again, it's about the kids, and it's about also he's. Why wouldn't WWE take a chance on Danhausen? Like he's someone who, much like Rhea Ripley, like there are non wrestling fans who know the Danhausen concept. The T-shirt sells. Why wouldn't they want to take a chance to work with someone who does make
Yeah,
money? Whether it's kids, whether it's horror fans, whatever. Like he is someone that people know and is entertaining. You're not putting him in main event matches with Drew McIntyre, although that might be entertaining. To throw teeth at Drew McIntyre, that might be fun. But yeah, I didn't mind the boxer. I don't think it was a letdown. I think it was presumptuous to assume it was going to be Jericho. Why would Jericho come out in a box? That doesn't make sense to me. So I was fine with it. I think the Chicago crowd is very interesting when it comes to what they want when it comes to wrestling. I think they can be fickle at times as well, but really doesn't matter. Danhausen is not meant to be seen as this like big main eventer. It's meant to be kind of a gimmick for gimmick's sake, and to me it worked. And I'm looking forward to what they can do with them because again, you have to think about our truth. There are other sort of comedic acts. Our truth's not going to be around forever. You need other acts to kind of keep the story going. Miz isn't getting any older. I think you could put Danhausen in those kind of, hey, we need someone to host a show and to host an angle or something. That's a role Danhausen can fill, and he's pretty young in his career. I think he can work well with everybody. I think he can work with maybe a celebrity or something, like you can plug him into different angles. You can move bits and stories forward. I think there's used to him and the kids will like him. You could even throw him in Mexico. You could send him to TNA. You could do whatever you want with him. Like he doesn't need to be on one brand. He can shift, he can move. He could host draft or whatever. He could do something dumb, whatever. Doesn't matter. It works. So I think I'm excited for what he can do. Uh I think that's what it's funny. That's one of the more I'm actually interested in what he's going to do for Mania. Like I'm more excited in what he's going to do for Mania than maybe some of these matches. Like it's interesting. So yeah, I don't know what Meltzer's trying to do other than just be controversial for controversial sake.
I do have a prediction that Roman Reigns is going to beat the shit out of him before WrestleMania. To
He gets speared into
like he's I think what's going to happen is he's going to come out and curse everybody, and then like 2 weeks before Mania, he's going to walk out and curse Roman, and Roman's going to drag him to the ring, and we're going to see how well Danhausen can bump. And then I think he'll come out of the ring at WrestleMania and curse Roman again. But I do
during the
think,
main event.
yeah, I do think that at some point Roman Reigns is going to annihilate the shit out of him. That's my prediction, and I don't see that as a burial. I see that as like I think Roman has to do something to make it even more personal with Punk, and I think beating the shit out of Danhausen would do it. So
That
Yeah.
that that would definitely be intriguing. I'm also intrigued by the Punk if Rock gets involved because he invoked the Bloodline name, and I'm curious because Punk and Rock have a history and they have not had an interaction since Punk has returned. So while I know Rock's schedule isn't certain and we don't know what the fuck's going on and he can fuck up creative with the schedule, I think there is money in having at least Rock interact with Punk in this upcoming Mania build.
I'm going to say this: the next time we see The Rock is when Rock has confirmation that as soon as Rock walks in the building, Triple H will be escorted out, and Brian Gerwertz will be the new head of creative. I don't think Rock's coming back until he can until TKO tells Triple H to leave. I'm dead serious about that. I think at this point, it's like he goes. I'm not coming back until he goes. That's what I think is going on right now.
Interesting.
I think if they're setting up for Saudi Arabia and they got everything that they want, you're seeing The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin get involved in this WrestleMania, if not that main event match. Whether that sets up Rock versus Roman and Austin versus Punk or some type of combination. I think if they got all that, so I think if they got it all planned out already, that's what we're gonna see in some capacity. Because they keep talking that this is the biggest WrestleMania main event, ever. It's not. But they keep talking about it like it is. But I can see them
Something's
trying to,
gonna happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, I mean, well, something has to happen. You got weeks ahead of time to do something. All right, let's talk about tonight. Let's talk tonight. Let's talk about the pay-per-view. Over the Edge 98. So here's the deal, man. I was watching this show, and it is just it's kind of an insane show because the undercard is not that good. Again, like this is a very very bad undercard. The roster in '98 is not good. And from an in-ring standpoint, it doesn't hold a candle to WCW's roster at this time. But the balls and the insanity. You want to talk about heist of the century? Vince McMahon. I can't believe he pulled this off. Vince McMahon is like, okay, we've got Steve Austin. He's the hottest baby face since Hogan. He needs heels. And I'm sure someone was like, okay, maybe we'll rehire Earthquake. Jim Ross is like, we can hire Steve Williams. I'm sure somebody's like, well, let's give Vader a renewed push. He's like, no. Bret Hart's gone. Shawn Michaels is gone. Rock's not ready. I know who's going to be the top heel. Me, Patterson, and Gerald Briscoe. And we're going to beat WCW with us as the top heels. And that sounds insane. That sounds fucking insane. But they fucking pulled it off. Like I'm watching this, like Gerald Briscoe was an NWA guy. He's like an NWA mid Carter. Pat Patterson, obviously, he's a legend, but back then they didn't celebrate. The footage wasn't around as much as it was, and they're fucking pulling it off, man. They are fucking. I call it that. They're beating WCW with Patterson because they are like top characters now and they're fucking delivering. They're beating WCW with Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. All right, that's insane. But it's like you know what it is. It's like Vince is like, okay, I don't have Hogan, I don't have Shawn Michaels, I don't have Bret Hart, I don't have Ultimate Warrior. I'll fucking beat you. If I have to get Vern Gagne out here, I will. I'll beat you with what I got. And if all I have is fucking Gerald Briscoe, that's what I'm gonna beat your ass with. And he fucking pulls it off. Show stings until the main event, but I thought the main event was fantastic. Kyle, what do you think?
Very average, below average show. It's just kind of there. And then the whole thing is Austin McMahon. It's all Austin McMahon, Foley starting to the Undertaker starting to creep in this storyline, which is like this story Stone Cold's pop and we'll get to it. Stone Cold's popularity is so strong that you could turn the beloved Undertaker heel or have him be heelish, which, years before is unprecedented. Like, there's no way they would be turning the Undertaker heel. He was their top guy. That's a testament to Austin McMahon and how popular that storyline was going. But no, this was firing on all cylinders. They had the most, it was the height, I guess, of just anti-corporate bullshit, which I wish we can get back to. Where like anything that Vince McMahon did, whatever stooge he had there, in this case, Briscoe Patterson, it just drove heat. People were very, very upset to see them and wanted to see them all get their ass kicked. And it just worked. As for the rest of the show, it's yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, and I think Vince knows. I think the reason why Patterson and Briscoe become such big characters, and it's so funny because like you would think like Sergeant Slaughter would be like, oh no, he was just a champion like fucking for a few years ago, but and he's a non-factor. But I think ultimately like this proved that like just because we weren't around the '70s, these guys delivered in a way, and I don't think Sergeant Slaughter or Tony Garea. It's but like what I'm saying is I think he knows the roster stinks. I think he knows the Rock and Triple H they ain't ready yet. Um, so I'm just gonna have to. I'll just do it myself and smoke and mirrors, and they pull it off, man. It's very impressive. It's very impressive because it's insane now. It's like Tony Khan being like, I got a plan. I got a plan to beat WWF. We're gonna overtake WrestleMania. What's the plan? Dean Malenko, Jerry Lynn, top heels. That's my fucking plan. And they're gonna feud with Hangman Page. It's gonna be fucking great. Everyone will be like, get the fuck out of here. And
I think that fan base would eat it up if those two could still go too. Fortunately, neither one. Oh, I don't know about Jerry Lynn, but they can't
Yeah.
go. But if those two could still go, that AEW fan base would like love every second of that.
That's the other thing about the thing about Gerald Briscoe is like he was only like in his 50s. Like he looks like he's 72 years old,
He
and
does.
so like they're just beating the shit out of him and throwing him around. It's like, oh, this is still like a younger. He's younger than Sting. He's younger than fucking Jericho, and but he looks so old, but he can still fucking move. Pratik, what did you think overall?
Yeah, I think we talked about when a white hot baby face gets the title, then it's like, okay, now let's see what happens. Is it that the crowd wants the chase, or are they happy with the title? And Austin proves once again, doesn't matter if he's chasing, doesn't matter if he's champion, you're happy with whatever position he's in. And I think Vince did a good job to all his faults. Vince at least knew when something was white hot, give the crowd what they want. We just watched WCW last week. Don't swerve. Don't make him look like a fool. Don't make him look like an idiot. You want to see Austin come in and kick some ass, you're going to get that on this pay per view. Like, I think this was definitely a bit of a bare bones pay per view, but the faces that worked, the things that were popping, whether it was LOD or The Rock, like give the crowd exactly what they wanted. Keep that keep the crowd's energy up. Don't try to overcomplicate things too much. And I think this was a bare bones pay per view, but Vince gave the crowd what they wanted. He didn't try to swerve it too much. It also helped. We talked about Vince being the heel, but also I think Mick Foley's dude love character worked well with Austin. They've wrestled for so many years. They had good chemistry. The match itself still held up. I mean, we're gonna get to that in the main event, but I'm just saying, like, all the players did their part well. Yes, Briscoe was whatever 50, but he looked 70. But he played his part well as part of the heel whatever McMahon faction or whatever. Like everybody did their part of the play nice, and I think McMahon does a good job of capitalizing on everybody's role. It was a good ensemble effort.
Yes, yes. And so let's get into Bayview. Let's break it down segment by segment. And there's some interesting things that go on here. First off, we have LOD 2000 versus the DOA. Chains is still there. I thought he was gone by now, but he's still there. So it's LOD 2000 versus the DOA. One of the most interesting to me about this match is that Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler discuss the Road Warriors being former AWA champs, and then Jerry Lawler talks about being a former AWA world champ. And I'm just like, well, wow, like they are really embracing, and then you'll see later, they are really embracing the older territories in a way they never have before or since. This match was okay. A good win for the LOD. They needed a personal win. They needed a person. They needed a win. Fucking DOA is DOA, as I always say. But standard match, but was to me was most interesting was the commentary and the ability and the willingness to talk about the AWA. 1998. Kyle, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it's very weird, and you'll see more about it later, that they are acknowledging just the AWA, NWA, old legends, things that like after they bought WCW, ECW were just forbidden for the longest time until Vince McMahon left. They didn't acknowledge other companies, but here they're acknowledging them and they're bringing up that history, and it's very, very jarring. Because you haven't heard it for so long. As for the match itself, LOD needed the win. We're starting the draws stuff. I'm surprised that all of DOA is still there, but I guess one last hurrah. Please don't be on any more pay-per-views. I don't want to watch another DOA match.
There are quite a few coming up. So.
Fuck.
Yeah, sorry. Critique your thoughts.
Yeah, the match was wasn't amazing, but I thought it was a decent opener in terms of the crowd was into it. The crowd loved LOD 2000. There were a couple good hard hitting spots that I enjoyed. Good to see Darren Drosnoff, aka Puke. I've seen Beyond the Mat and I know his whole history, so it was nice to see him in action, get a few moments. The crowd was really on board with LOD, so I think it was good that they got a win. I was just a bit like clearly the commentary was mentioning that this was like a number one contenders match, but I don't feel like it was officially billed as a number one contenders match. So I think it would just been nice for them to officially build it, just make it clear that no, this is a number one contenders match. Uh, but yeah, I didn't mind the history commentary because it kind of, I guess they do like a presentation later in the show
Yeah,
that we'll get to. So I think the commentary was matching the tone of the show, which was, hey, we're paying tribute to the history. Which I don't know if this was like, I know Cornette has talked about in the past, like he was butting heads with Kevin Dunn about some of the packages. I know the one for St. Louis when they were King of the Ring, which we'll talk about later down the road. But like they would do these little packages in the cities that they were in, and they would pay tribute to the wrestling that took place in the city. And I thought that was kind of good that they were trying to do that. Yes, this is a new era, but we're still looking to our past. I don't know if it was Cornette's idea or if it was just somebody's idea in the higher ups, but I thought it was interesting and creative, and it's funny how this disappeared after a couple years, and then it didn't really occur. But for right now, I like it. I think it's good that they do that, and I'm glad this stuff didn't get cut out from Netflix.
yeah. So up next we got The Rock. I forgot, by the way, Draws. I completely, when he walked out, I forgot. But he
Puke.
kind
He's got a puke.
He's got it.
of got a
Speaking of, you mentioned Netflix. I mean, we're gonna have to find out in a couple weeks. Most of the SmackDowns, this is a tangent, are leaving Peacock in about
oh,
13 days,
don't get
and
it.
Oh.
NXT pay-per-view. So I don't know where they're gonna go. We'll all find out together. But I don't know
Can't,
why NBC, if you have SmackDown for 5 years, why are you getting rid of the archive? It makes no sense to me. We've talked about ad nauseum, but
dude. I was watching it. I got in a bunch of SmackDowns the other day. It's just I don't even know what's going on with these apps, man. It's
it's gotta
just
go to one of them, Netflix or ESPN or
I'm just
Prime Video.
I'm glad that that we found our friends where we found our friends, and that I bought so many DVDs, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna go
Physical
through.
media. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm
If only you
gonna,
could get it for SmackDown.
well, I mean, yeah, you can't. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm just grateful that like I have so much on DVD, and I really think that I would love it if WWE went back to DVD. All right, so up next, The Rock comes out. He runs down Milwaukee, trying to get some heat. Farouk comes out, and Farouk tries to pile drive him on the chair, but misses. They put The Rock in a neck brace. The Nation is out. Um, this seemed to me more like they wanted The Rock to talk to the live crowd, and then I guess like make it seem like The Rock is like coming from behind when he fights Farouk later. Um, I don't know why they did the chair thing. I just would have had Rock cut a promo and then go to the match. I think it would have been more effective if Rock was 100% and beat Farouk. Maybe they just wanted to bury Farouk and be like, even when The Rock has a broken neck, he can beat the shit out of Farouk. I don't know. But what do you think of this angle, Kyle?
I think they just wanted to get The Rock out there. They wanted to spotlight The Rock, and just make The Rock seem like a more important deal. Even if like The Rock got his ass beat in this one. They just wanted you to know that The Rock was important. They want you to know that Stone Cold is important. Sorry, The Rock is important, and Triple H, despite, I mean, they DX their run in a little later, but they want you to know that these three guys are important, despite what, again, people on Twitter are thinking about. It's Attitude Era week, and they're mad that Triple H, the chief officer, is on the center of the photo. Which, like, guys, you got to pick your battles. Obviously, he's gonna be on there, but they want. I think that was the point of that. They want you to know that these guys mean something. When they come out, you pay attention to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is watching this stuff now. It's like, and I hate to give the devil his due, but the thing about it is watching this stuff now. It's like it's very clear that if Vince stayed as an announcer, the Attitude Era doesn't really work, and
No,
um,
no.
and I think like it's hard because it's been Chris Benoit, but like the Attitude Era is Vince's era as a character. It's just
I mean, they kind of sneak him in now. I know they did it with the Royal Rumble package on the show for the Saudi Arabia one. They were talking about winners, and they showed Vince McMahon, and they don't take him out of commentary as much anymore. I think they're just waiting for this whole thing in their mind to blow over. The Janelle
oh
Brandt. I hope it doesn't blow over,
no,
but that's what they are.
I'm not saying that Vince should be acquitted. What I'm just saying that like
No, I didn't
watching
say that.
yeah. No, watching these shows, it's very apparent that what is making things fire on all cylinders is that Vince McMahon is willing to go completely fucking insane. And he never
Yes.
did that before. So, because a lot of this other shit, and I used to love this show, just doesn't hold up. And we're about to get to something like that. Oh wait, Pratik, your thoughts on the Rocket and Farouk?
Yeah, I like seeing classic heel rock, make references to the town, and it's again it's that thing of they're giving they know who their future stars are, and they're giving them the platform to run wild. I don't know how much creative freedom Rock had. I'm sure maybe he had a couple bullet points. I don't think he just came up with the promo entirely himself. I'm sure there were some bullet points given to him, but he was given some free reign to kind of be who you are, be this heel character and make it work. And that's what eventually got him over. And I just think I'm thinking about stars today, like, yes, Trick Williams' main roster debut, and he'll get a segment with Sami Zayn. He'll get a segment here and there, but I feel like, they're bringing up all these stars from NXT or bringing up all these stars from other companies. You need TV time to let the fans figure out who they are. And each TV time segment shouldn't be like held in this high regard. Like, no, like they need time to say something. And if it doesn't work, you're gonna try again. I feel like The Rock was given so much creative, not freedom back then, but he was given so many segments to, find his feet, find his footing. And I think that's something that you have to, say what you want about Vince. When he liked someone and he was hot on, he was high on someone, he gave them the TV time to grow.
Yes, and yeah, and The Rock certainly needed that.
Yeah.
Here's someone who needed TV time to de-evolve is LJ versus Steve Blackman. Jim Ross, and I love him. Goes on and 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 on about how tough Steve Blackman is, and goes into his background and gives so much information about Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman sound like the true world's most dangerous man, and he was. He would shoot kick your ass, and if one time he hit Bradshaw 5 times. Bradshaw didn't even know he was hit once. Bradshaw goes like half a second later, I just realized the guy hit me 5 times. I was in the airport. This match does this guy no fucking favors. Oh, fucking Al Snow is also here doing comedy.
Yeah.
And like, hey, enough of that main event push, you idiot. This is my problem with the match is that Steve Blackman is the world's most dangerous man. He's such a badass. He fucking Tennessee Lee hits him, and that's how he loses. So I guess Tennessee Lee is actually the world's most dangerous man because one hit from him and fucking Steve Blackman's in a coma. Um, Again, I just this whole Jeff Jarrett thing. Did you see he has a documentary out on the C at the CW in the South. They put out a documentary about Jeff Jarrett called
No,
He
I
is
don't
his
know.
he is his oh he really thinks he did something. He is a mid fucking guy who just
To be
always was at the right
to
time.
be
And
fair, he did help. I mean, without him, we wouldn't have TNA. So he did do something. He may not be the level that he thinks he is, but what
listen,
happened?
with his dad, listen, if his dad had someone else instead of him, TNA right now would be selling out fucking right?
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, when we get into TNA, I want to do the weekly TV.
Again, you kind of just brought that on us. You didn't say we're kind of forcing us to watch TNA.
Well, we're not there yet. I mean, the world could end. I mean, I did say
Jeez.
that we're not going to be done with 1999 when 2026 ends. So we got time. But just so you're ready, we got to tackle this. But yeah, the match was okay, but again, like it's just you make fucking Steve Blackman look like a fucking idiot. What do you think, Kyle?
I thought the match was longer than it was. I just thought it was only 10 minutes. It felt longer.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just the power of Jeff Jarrett. I mean, he may be the world's dangerous man, but that does not necessarily mean smart. So he got outsmarted by Tennessee Lee. But no, it doesn't help Steve Blackman. Definitely didn't help Al Snow. I think they just didn't know what they wanted to do with these people, so they just had them go at it.
Yeah. What do you think, Pratik?
Yeah, I pretty much echoing that sentiment. It's like, okay, you have Al Snow, you have Steve Blackman, but what are you going to do with them? And you want to keep the title on Jeff Jarrett? Like, it doesn't. I understand Steve Blackman has to lose, but there was a little bit of WCW booking in this match where you're making a tough guy look like a fucking fool, and you could have had him lose. A different. If you didn't want to change the belt, you could have still had him kick ass and not look like a fool. And I felt like, it didn't help Steve Blackman, who the commentary is making me think that I should care about him, but then as the fan, you're like, well, he's not winning, so why should I care about him? And obviously, look, Steve Blackman had I do think he had a fun time in the Attitude Era. He had some great matches. I enjoyed his stuff, but yeah, I don't think this match necessarily helped elevate him, and so I wish they could have done something a little bit different. But yeah, Al Snow doing the Spanish commentary was entertaining. But yeah, this match could have been a little shorter, and I also maybe wouldn't have put it this early in the card. You could have put it a little bit later in the card, maybe as a cooler match or something, or a cool
Yes.
down match or whatever the house show term is. Cooler match, cool down match. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just Jeff Jarrett should be ashamed of himself and everything he's done in life because all right, so now we have Mark Marrow versus Sable. So Mark Marrow has challenged Sable, not challenged Sable to a match, but said Sable, if someone can beat him, he'll let Sable out of her contract. Sable comes to the ring and says that she will wrestle Mark Marrow. She doesn't need a man to fight her own battles. Again, this storyline, and the reason why the crowd's invested in her as of this moment in May is more about her being her own person and not just the fact that she is hot. And by the way, she looks incredible in this wrestling outfit. So Mark Marrow is like, if that's how you feel, I'll let you pin me. Now Sable probably should just put her foot on his chest, and then the whole plan would have went haywire because there's not much he could have done unless, well, I guess Mark Marrow could have put her in ankle lock, but that'd be a little bit too much man on female violence for these two characters. Instead, she like puts her whole entire body on Mark and hooks the leg. Like that's gonna do anything with her strength. And Mark just reverses pins her. And then in the funniest thing, I will give Mark Merrill credit. He goes from being the loving husband to like celebrating like he just won the WWE title at WrestleMania. And he sings "Na na na na" to kick Sable out. The crowd does not like it. They want to see Sable. Sable now is fired from WWE and now must live on a farm with the beast Brock Lesnar and sire him children for the next 20 years. But I thought this was a fun angle. I'm glad Sable stood up for herself rather than have some fucking jabroni fight Mark Marrow and waste time. What did you think?
Feel like you missed a few steps in Sable's lore there. Just she lost the match and then she met a guy named Brock and now she's
No,
fathering
no,
children. No, I'm
no.
just messing. I'm
Vince
messing with you.
Vince McMahon rehires her because
Yes, yes. No, I know. Hey, if he didn't, he would never met Brock and she wouldn't be
yeah.
wherever she is on a farm. But yeah, I think it worked. It was good for the storyline. Mark Morrell's a piece of shit in the storyline. You feel bad for Sable. Jerry Lawler's hamming it up. So I think all of that worked. It's probably the second most popular thing on the show. Shows again the testament of Sable. I thought it was funny when the line Jim Ross like maybe the Undertaker will help out. Like, the Undertaker's not helping out. Undertaker's not dealing with this. Now, like, Undertaker helping out in this storyline would have been like when you play as him in like SmackDown versus Raw, and now he's in the love storyline, and you're like, this makes zero sense. But he did the voiceover too, so that wasn't gonna happen. But no, I thought it went well.
Yeah. I enjoy it. Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think no one's watching this match for its technical appeal, but yeah, it elevated the story. Wasn't too long. It was a quick segment, and again, the crowd was into it. You can't argue that, and definitely something I remember. I remember this part as a kid, fortunately or unfortunately, but yeah, did its job. And again, like I'm glad that stuff like this didn't get removed from Netflix. I'm glad you can see these kind of snapshot moments still on the pay-per-view. If you haven't watched it before, you should still check out this segment or match, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I don't think this be removed because something offensive. It's not like fucking Mark Merrow, like fucking, I don't know, fucking delivers the Tiger Driver 91 on her and then pins her.
No, not yeah, nothing that bad.
Just like tosses her to the side and, he outwits her. He outwits her.
Yes.
Um, Up next, this was a weird one, but this wasn't that bad, actually. It's Kai and Tai. Dick to go, Men's Teo, and Sho Funaki. I always thought he was called Men's Teo
Dick
because
Togo, please don't say Dick to go.
Dick,
Dick Togo.
Dick
Dick to
Togo.
go is a new app coming soon.
Yeah, Dick to go. Oh my God.
Had Dick Togo had Dick to go. All right. I
Well,
always thought Dick
maybe.
Togo was called Men's Teo because there was a faction in Japan called Men's, so he
Hmm.
was like Teo of that faction. And they're taking on the handicap chap Bradshaw versus Taka Michinoku. This match is worth seeing because you're not going to see a match like this again, where three cruiserweights uh,
Lost
outwit
thread.
and beat the shit out of a big guy. I will say Bradshaw does a really good job of, the implication of this match. If Bradshaw gets in there, like if Bradshaw and Men's Teo are alone, Men's Teo is going to the hospital, but the other two guys are constantly on the move to make sure that, like, okay, yeah, maybe one of us you can destroy, but if all three of us get on you, Bradshaw, you're not gonna have. We're gonna overwhelm you. We're gonna outsmart you. We're gonna overwhelm you, and we're gonna fucking win. And that's exactly what they do. They do win. Ty and Ty. Um, I thought this was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. You're not gonna see much because if they book this match today, let's say it's Oba Femi and fucking Danhausen versus fucking Akira Tozawa
Yeah.
and Rich Cedric Alexander and fucking I don't know. They bring in fucking and I don't know fucking uh Santos Escobar. Fucking Obafemi's just gonna destroy all three guys while Danhausen stands there. That's the
Yeah.
match. Obafemi just throwing them through fucking walls. They never do this, and I think this to me shows to me this match shows me Bradshaw gets it. Sometimes people shit on Bradshaw, but because a lot of big guys would have been like, "How about I just beat the shit out of all three of them?" And no, Bradshaw plays long, it makes for a better match, and also it gives Kai and Tai credit. I liked it. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, you're definitely not seeing something like this in WWE now. Like you wouldn't see the Mexicals beat up Batista in 2005.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, Bradshaw did a testament to Bradshaw there. Bradshaw, it's very funny watching Bradshaw's career pre JBL because he's just an APA because he's just there. He's there for whatever they have him do. And then you would never think that this guy was gonna be the world champion and one of the top heels in WWE like ever. Just watching him now with the fucking mustache and stuff. But Dick Togo, Mensteo, Funaki, all three. Yeah, I mean it was cool to see them get some offense, have this like kind tie feud. I liked it. I was a fan. I was a fan of the match. I thought Bradshaw was gonna turn on him. He didn't turn on him. It was a cool little partnership, Bradshaw Taka. And they treated these guys seriously. Another thing that the WWE, specifically with Asian wrestlers, they don't do that often. They treated Kai and Tai as a serious, if you can believe it, treated Kai and Tai seriously. Kai and Tai was an actual threat, which,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't happen that often with their Asian wrestlers, male wrestlers.
Yeah, but I think like it's when I was a kid, Hulk Hogan versus Dax, right? And Demolition. By the way, just got on the Hall of Fame, well deserved. Uh,
Yes.
oh, Hulk Hogan's gonna win. He's gonna win. It's not gonna be that hard for him. But bro, if you said to me like, "Hey, did you hear what's the main event of Sunday's main event? Do you know what the main event is of Sunday's main event?" I'm like, "What? Hulk Hogan versus Demolition." Does he have a partner? He doesn't have a partner. As much as I believe in Hulk Hogan, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan's gonna die," because
Yeah.
these two together are gonna annihilate him. And now it's like and now it's like almost the opposite. Like if they said Cody Rhodes is going to take on the Motor City Machine Guns, my idea would be like, why are they going to bury the Motor City Machine Guns on a random SmackDown? Like
Right.
I don't think that the reality is the Motor City Machine Guns you just fucking send Cody Rhodes to the hospital until someone comes to save him. But they just don't do it like that anymore, and it's so
I
fucking.
I really think they need to do this more. I saw somebody say online that The Rock was probably the most giving main eventer in WWE history. Because I remember they used to do these like handicap matches or tag matches where it's like Test and Booker T or the Dudley Boys against The Rock, and The Rock would lose. He'd come close, but The Rock would lose like the tables match to the Dudley Boys. And yeah, he'll win on like Monday or win on Thursday. But like, of course he should lose to the tag team champions, one of the, in your eyes, greatest tag teams in the world, the Dudley Boys. He shouldn't be able to beat the Dudley Boys. He doesn't have to get destroyed, but he should lose and then get some like momentum on him. Like that would be great for like a Cody Rhodes, like CM Punk. not beating all three members of the Division or Judgment Day by himself. That would be not that that happened. It would just add some more momentum to the characters, and it's something that they don't do anymore. Also, I
Well,
would have
it's like,
also ate up Hogan versus Demolition if that
oh,
was a Saturday Night's main event.
that would have been great. But Obafemi, like destroying the War Raiders. Uh, what does that do? Like to me, it's like, okay, if he beats Ivan one week and then the other guy the next week, you still get it done and you buy yourself 2 weeks of TV time. He hasn't been on TV for a while. And it's like, what did that accomplish? Because to me, it doesn't make me think, oh my God, Obafemi's like the strongest guy on the planet. It makes me like, you guys don't fucking take the tag team division seriously. Like, the War Raiders are guys that can fucking go. And it's just, this is the way to do it. This is the way. I'm not saying Femi should have like lost to the War Raiders, but it's like don't put yourself in that corner. And this is kind of the way to do it. And this is I'm
Yeah,
take
I wouldn't
Obafemi
have had it be the War Raiders. The what's these guys' names? Um,
Viking Raiders.
the
Marinara.
Viking Raider. So what's the? No, they're the War Raiders now. They used to be the Viking
They were
Raiders.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are
Yeah,
War Raiders.
and they
Yeah,
were briefly the Viking Experience.
The Vikings.
Oh my God, what a year that
That
was.
sounds like a Disney ride. The
It
Vikings.
it it does. I was like, what the fuck is the Viking Experience? Apparently, Ivar was okay with this one because he trained Obafemi. I think as much as I like all three people, does nothing for the War Raiders.
No.
And there should be a team. I think they should be on SmackDown because SmackDown doesn't have like a big team, so they could besides the Wyatt Six who cares, but like it does nothing for them. So next time you see the War Raiders, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, these are the guys that got jobbed out, like an Austin Theory, like a what are those guys, Angel and Berto, or like the
Oh
Cre-
God.
the
Yeah.
Creeds even. The Creeds can be a team that like get shocked by Obafemi and get like taken down. Then you could have the one-on-ones next week. But like the War Raiders, it should not have been them. I get wanting to make Obafemi a big deal, but I think it shouldn't have been them. That's what we recap Raw from like a month ago.
I know. Well, it's fucking made me think about this. All right, up next,
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in this match, and the match is Rock versus Farouk. They've been building to this for months. I remember this. I don't know why I remember this being not bad. It's bad. They don't have good chemistry in the ring, and EX comes. The match kind of goes. The Rock pins him with his feet on the ropes. The crowd's kind of dead. This is like the worst Rock match since he's had like his makeover. DX comes out for the save, which is also funny that now they're faces so soon after WrestleMania. I thought this match was not good, especially for Rock in '98. This was not a good match. I don't know, Farouk. I think Farouk needed a tag team. Because I'm like, oh, was there? I think this is it. They don't even have another follow up match. The Rock wins definitively. They just kind of like move on. Like that's it. The Rock's got bigger things, bigger fish to fry than your stupid ass. And that's kind of it for Farouk as a singles. What did you think, Kyle?
No, I thought it wasn't that good. I think Farouk unfortunately was at the point. Ron Simmons' days were getting past him more and more, and which sucks. He's a great wrestler. But the character of Farouk is not somebody that people wanted to cheer at that time. Nation of Domination Farouk gives you no reason to cheer him other than he got betrayed by the nation. So it's hard to stay invested in somebody that you have no just yeah no there's no investment in him, so it just kind of fell flat, and thankfully he recovers and Rock recovers, but at that time not great.
Not great. Critique your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid enjoying this, but man, watching this back, like, yeah, just the match itself, like, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Like, no chemistry, or not as great chemistry as we thought. And yeah, I just feel like that Milwaukee crowd just didn't want to get behind Farouk at all, so it didn't. So yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. And then I didn't mind the DX, the run-ins kind of enhanced it a little bit. And obviously the rest of Nation is going to fight DX later in the show, so I mean it kind of serves its purpose. But yeah, the match itself, I wasn't that impressed with. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm happy that both of them get different not gimmick changes, but their characters develop over time, and I don't know. I don't know if they were just trying to finish off this feud, so they needed the match to kind of get to the next thing. So that's what it felt like. It just felt like we got to get through this match because we're moving on to something else.
Yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad. And again, I kind of wish Farouk had a big like blowout match between the two of them, but they never did.
They
So
never, yeah.
never did. They just moved on, and I hate everyone that ever. All right. So up next, it's Vader versus Kane, mask versus mask. They're
Well, I will
going like
take. Sorry, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break.
okay. I think
I
that's
thought
what.
I thought I thought it was the Legends part where I'm gonna take the bathroom break, but
Oh no,
sorry.
no, it's coming up. All
No, I
right.
think that's after. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start doing the recap of this. So it's Vader versus Kane. They go on. It's mask versus mask. Obviously, very intriguing. If Kane loses, I mean that would kind of just ruin WWF. I'm not kidding. I think if they gave up on Kane right now, that would fucking hurt their business. Uh,
Woof.
but it's mask versus mask. But Vader literally takes off the mask. Like he would just take off the mask in WCW if he like was feeling like a little sweaty. Like the mask is constantly coming off of Vader. So I don't understand why this is even a good stipulation. I don't.
Had he
Pratik,
been on Boy Meets World at this point? Because he was maskless on Boy Meets World as well. So I don't know if that had already happened at this point.
I don't know if that happened, but he's been maskless on countless wrestling
For
shows.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Pratik, were you in the No Way Out episode, or did you miss that one?
I was not on the No Way Out episode. No.
Right. So these two guys had a pretty good match on that show. Vader gave him a lot, and it was really fun. And this match is not that. Vader is very sluggish. It's basically over for Vader. I never saw his 2000s New Japan stuff, but it's fucking done. He's fucking done right here. Match is not as good. Vader seems to have lost a step from February to May. Seems to have lost a step, and Kane beats him pretty decisively to move on. Crowd chants for Undertaker. Nobody cares. This is kind of it. Vader never has like a big. He has a couple more. There's a couple more pay-per-views. He never really has a big fucking match again. And his last, it's so crazy to me. His last match is losing clean to Mark Merrow on a Raw when Mark Merrow's going down the card. So
Really? Yeah.
again, Mark Merrow, Johnny B. Bad beating Vader clean in 1993. Fucking people would probably still be talking about it, and no one even remembers that. I remember but this match stunk. What do you think, Pratik?
Yeah, I remember that No Way Out match. This was definitely not as good as that. I mean, Kane looks great. I still I remember this because I was just a fan of that. Granted, I don't like Glenn Jacobs anymore, and fuck all his Republican politics. But early Kane in the Attitude Era, I was such a big Kane fan. He was so smooth. So I think as a kid, or as for the younger fan of Kane, like you're like, yeah, he's just beating some ass, yeah, and he's looking great. But yeah, as an adult watching this now, I'm like, oh, Vader's fucking gassed and Kane's carrying him the whole time. And yeah, I mean, the mask thing, that stipulation, to me, it didn't really need it, whatever. I did like the visual at the end of the match of Paul Bear wearing the Vader mask. It was kind of entertaining for a second or two. I mean, I'm always a fan of Paul Bear. He's always going to be entertaining to me. Yeah, not as an exciting of a match. Felt like a filler match. Felt like kind of we're seeing the downfall of Vader. Unfortunately, it kind of felt like the way they interviewed him afterwards, like almost like a
Forgot
retired.
that piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which, by the way, scripted. He was according to Bruce Pritchard, he was supposed to say that.
oh really? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I'll give it like 3 out of 5, whatever. Like it's clearly you're trying to build Kane to look like a badass. You need something for Kane after Undertaker. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Kane lost at Mania. Did he
Yeah.
lose? And he lost the Inferno match too. That was after that. So for if anything, this was just meant to keep Kane strong and make him look like a badass after losing twice to the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And so
But
in
he,
that way, it did its job, because Kane still looked great. Talk about, real quick, like, I feel like now, like, if somebody loses 2 pay-per-views in a row, we're like, oh, we're burying him. Whereas back then, just the sheer power and charisma and just the agility of Kane, he could lose to The Undertaker and still like no, it didn't really. He didn't lose any equity from those two losses because people are still cheering him, and he's gotten over organically so long. I think it just speaks to the power of that character and the power of that storyline where you could lose twice and then come back and still look strong afterwards, and you just don't see that as much today.
Well, because the internet, like, so, like, let's say, like, Boba Femi gets the match with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and he loses, and
Right.
then for a rematch at Backlash and he loses again. The internet basically like, oh, that's it. It's over for him. He's
Done.
done.
Yeah. Fuck him. Yeah. Why should we care? Yeah.
Racists, they're this, they're that. And Kane lost twice, and he didn't lose it. He didn't lose a step. And the
No.
fact is, when they said he's going to fight Austin next month, you're like, well, how is Austin going to get out of that? Which he doesn't. And now it's like it's fucking crazy because now it's like you lose and people are like, oh, see, like when Blake Monroe lost on a fluke, they're all putting like, well, you shouldn't have left AEW. It's like, well, then who's gonna lose? Because someone's got to lose.
People gotta lose. Yeah.
And it's like, if you know what, if the follow up is good, it doesn't matter because like Kane loses twice and then he's the fucking world champ. So and then he loses the belt and he's still fucking over all summer.
Oh, it was
He's
great. Yeah. That whole program was talk about someone who he comes in at Mania and then they just keep it's that thing of Punk talks about this in a lot of interviews where it's like, I was booked to lose against The Rock. I was booked to lose against Undertaker, but then I was like, what's next? What's next? How do you keep that character going? It's not a matter of losing, it's a matter of what is the next angle afterwards. How do you keep someone going? And when WWE wants to do that, they know how to do it. Cody Rhodes lose to Roman at Mania 39, but he was still kept relevant in the eyes of the fan, whether it was through the Lesnar feud or whatever feud with he's beating up Dominic one week, beating up fucking whoever Dragon Lee the next week or whatever. He was still kept relevant. I think there's just not enough of the we're not thinking about the next step afterwards. I feel like you
yeah,
see that not just this is not just a WWE problem. This is an AEW problem. This is a problem across the board. What is the next step? If you're going to lose, how do you keep that main eventer still looking relevant?
yeah, yeah. Kyle, you there?
Yeah.
So what do you think of I'm gonna say Pratik versus Sullivan?
I mean, I'm sure that'd be a solid match, but
Hey,
I
thank
think
you.
I think Kane. I mean, it was a way to build back up Kane. I remember the big fat piece of shit promo like it was yesterday. Just as a kid, just I was like, what? So it was especially hearing the word shit on WWE TV at the time. Didn't hear it that often, but yeah, I mean, you had to build Kane back up. Kane is a perfect example of what to do, at least his first couple years, especially this year, of what to do when building a character and making a strong character, even if somebody loses. He was strong throughout the year. Then 99 things got a little wonky, and we could go through his career someday. But if that's textbook 101 on how to build from 97 to 98, how to build a character and maintain a character that sticks with you for life, because it really, really worked out for Kane. And yeah, I also think people just kind of use those words. If Oba loses to Cody or they have a draw, it's not a burial. If they just had a match, Finn Balor did not get buried by Cody Rhodes. I mean by CM Punk.
Yeah,
Like they
Punk, yeah.
just they people just use these words. They learn these words. It makes reminds me of The Simpsons. It's an episode where Homer he becomes like a refugee for like for the church, and he goes to a third world country, but he's running to the church getting chased by PBS, which some yeah, and then he's screaming sanctuary, sanctuary, and then Reverend Lovejoy goes, oh, why did I ever teach him that word? Which is like that's how I feel when people are like, this person's buried, this person's pushed. Like, who taught you these fucking words? Because you don't know what they mean. And I'm not in the business, so I'm not gonna act like I'm the expert on it, but I know you're using it wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. It's and then if you win too much, you're now they're calling now Rhea Hogan
Oh
Oh,
King
my
of,
God,
I
that
hate
annoys me
that.
so much.
and it's like, come on, man, and it's ridiculous. Sammy Hogan. I can't believe they call him Sammy Hogan, and it's like,
People are very hung up on Chad Gable beating Sami Zayn 2 years ago when he turned heel. And you could have done it. You could have done it. That's not what they wanted to do. But they blame Sami Zayn for this because I don't know why they want Chad Gable to be this mega superstar, even though right now, whether you like El Grande Americano or not, he's a mega superstar. Like, WWE is probably more invested in him now than they were 2 years
2
ago.
years ago, 100%.
Like, but it's not Sami Zayn's fault that Chad Gable didn't win the Intercontinental Championship. So like, let it go.
And no, people aren't that mad about it anymore because now Chad Gable's racist, according to the
Wait.
fans, because of the character, you know.
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
mean, well,
I was like,
he's
did
a
he?
good.
I was like, wait, did he say something? Is he like Republican or something?
You know, even Mexicans like it, like the character, both of them, and they get behind it. It's still racist and offensive.
It's a ridiculous game that the Ludwig allegedly, I don't know who these people are under the mask. The new El Grande Americano is the villain in America, but the hero in Mexico, and vice versa for the original Grande America. They think it's cute. I don't think it's cute, but whatever. What do I know?
They're entertained. He speak well. The new Grande's Spanish is very. He's like serenading the crowd with like
Yeah,
old like Mexicans on. Like it's entertaining. You know, I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but I can watch it and be like, all right, this piques my interest. You know,
I just want to
Look,
cheer the new guy, not the old guy.
yeah.
look, I'll say this because, dude, you know, I have a Mexican family. None of them give a shit about Lucha Libre or CML or football. If the people in Mexico are loving fucking Grande Americano, that says to me it works.
Yeah,
And fucking white reporters and white Twitter accounts, they have no say in it. Sorry, it works. So okay,
Careful, they might screenshot when they the unmasking and then blame everybody else for it.
no, I
It's an
mean,
unnecessary shot at a certain.
I'm allowed to like it if I'm.
No, you're fine. Just what happened to Dragon Lee this week and the
Oh,
drama of that, where a certain reporter screenshotted the part where you saw his face and then blamed everyone else for it.
well, dude, I saw that and it's such a brief. I thought people were yelling at him like I thought like they had the mask off for like at least they had a shot of him for at least like 4 or 5 seconds. It's so fucking brief. It is very weird to like pause that and make that, especially when people from Mexico explain to him why you shouldn't do that, and he's still like yelling, and it's like, okay, like if all your readership and the people in the business are telling you that it was stupid to do that, like why don't you fucking listen? I mean, because you don't have to.
right.
I agree.
It
You
seems
knew what
almost
you were you knew what you were doing. Just own up to what you were doing.
yeah, and it's like delete it at this point or be like, hey, I thought it was news. I understand what people are saying. Okay, fine, whatever. And it's just like, no, you want to triple, quadruple down, but then you're gonna lecture me that El Grande Americano is racist. Okay, but when Mexican people are telling you this upsets them, like you have
Yeah, this actually is offensive. Like, what are we doing?
like, no, it's not. It's fine. It's like, okay, okay, you're right. So it's these white. Oh, I sound like fucking Charlie Kirk, but these fucking white liberals, like they like
Oh man.
if Mexican people are saying El Grande Americano is funny, but you take a screenshot is fucked up. That's what you have to listen to. You fucking idiot. All right. Anyway,
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah.
but
Anyway, the legends.
Chad Gable. I mean, I remember a year ago, people were like, I guess Chad Gable was racist all along. Uh, because
Social media is just the worst now, man.
he agreed to this character, and it's like, all right. Meanwhile, a year ago, you were like, Chad Gable should win all the belts and fucking retire. All right, here we go. So this segment's interesting. Now, years when I was a kid, I wondered why they did this segment. And I think I know why they did. And they do something. They do another. They did a legend segment also at Bad Blood, and
Yes.
they got a bunch of local legends. They bring out Mad Dog Michelle. They bring out the Crusher, who gets a massive pop. I always forget because again, this footage isn't there. Oh yeah, these guys were big. It's just that they never show you the footage. But Crusher gets a fucking huge pop. Legend in Milwaukee. Why are they doing this on pay-per-view? Why are they wasting time? I'm telling you why they're doing this. So I think Vince was going around paying respect to local legends and gland handling local businesses to keep WCW out. That's what I think this is, and I don't know. I don't have the research to see if they were back in Milwaukee WCW, or and I forget where they were for Bad Blood '97. But I think stuff like this was to ingratiate himself the community and to get these guys on his side to help promote WWF shows in the area and to start boxing because that's what that was his plan in the, like I'm gonna buy out Stu and take over his company. I'm gonna buy out Vern. He wound up not having to do that, but I think now this suddenly I'm gonna gland hand and I'm gonna fucking celebrate these local guys on national TV was stuff in the local politics. I mean, you see, maybe I'm TKO brain rotted because of what they're doing with the parties and stuff. Like they're icing out the parties and they want the fee and stuff. But I mean, like on a lower level, having the Crusher uh, make life hard for WCW to book a building that's not that out of the reach for me. Seeing what they're doing now, the segment's fine. King gets beat up by the Crusher. The crowd loves it. But again, I think that's the reason why this was on TV and not like just at a house show, because it's to get Crusher, who probably has a lot of say in the area, to make life hard for his competitors. What do you think, Kyle?
I never put any of that together, but it all sounds right. I mean, it helped out. The people loved it. In the arena, Jerry Lawler did what he does best. Oh, just Jerry. Stay with the sentence that I said. Jerry Lawler did what he does best, and got his ass beat for doing that.
Fucking high school reunion. Anyway,
I
keep going.
I wasn't gonna. I'm just gonna focus on the wrestling.
Hey,
Yeah, and it was for the home. That wasn't for us because we don't know who it is, but it was for the crowd, and they loved it. So maybe that you're not wrong about the WCW. I would also have to look into if they ever went back to Milwaukee and all these other places. I don't know, but yeah, I think that checks out.
yeah, because I think it's like and WCW's doing great in the ratings, but if I can like fucking make sure that you can't tour certain places, you will lose fans. I don't know. It's just something was going on with the Crusher. Something was going on with the Crusher. Mad Dog Vachon, I think, can't get you a cup of coffee at his house. But I'm saying, like, I think the Crusher, there's a statue of him. So I think the Crusher can certainly go to the mayor and be like, or go to the building operators and be like, you need to charge WCW a high premium. I give Vince a discount. And then WCW, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of this was to consolidate the power and bring these people into the fold, as his lieutenants, you know.
No, I agree.
Now they don't have to do that. Now they just can fucking have Mark Shapiro walk in with a shotgun to the mayor's head and be like, "Look, this is
Jeez.
your town, you fucking scumbag." Critique your thoughts on the Crusher making his WWE debut.
Yeah, I mean, it was again, it was a segment for as a kid. Maybe I didn't understand it, but as an adult, understanding that they're playing to the local town, the history of wrestling in that local town. Which, yeah, I got it confused. My bad. I thought the St. Louis segment was at King of the Ring '98. No, it was Bad Blood '97. Yeah, they were in St. Louis for Bad Blood. So again, paying tribute to St. Louis wrestling, paying tribute to Milwaukee AWA wrestling. Like, yeah, it's that little, yeah, maybe it was more. I thought it was like, oh, Vince just paying tribute to the history, with the Mania package as well, paying tribute to the history. But yeah, there's probably something more strategic involved. But I do feel like WWE is always, especially now with Triple H at the helm, like paying tribute to people in their hometown. Inducting Paul Heyman in Philadelphia. Paying tribute to things in there when they're in that town, paying tribute to them. So it's probably a half strategy, half history. And I just feel like these segments get lost to time. Like, I'm happy this stuff is didn't get cut out of the Peacock airings or Netflix airings. Like, I feel like it's a good snapshot of what was going on back, whether it's a history thing, but also Crusher getting this moment in front of the fans, and the fans are into it too, which is that's huge. And again, you need a heel. So Lawler, he's already being a heel on commentary, and I like the fact that they alluded to his AWA run earlier on commentary. So it was like, okay, now it pays off. So all those references to AWA at the beginning of the show, okay, you needed a segment like this to kind of bring it home. So yeah, it worked out in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it worked out, and yeah, and then the Crusher made sure Eric Bischoff's family
Couldn't eat. They spit in his food when he comes to town. Yeah.
the type of guy that like fucking like Eric Bischoff has like a second cousin, and the Crusher just like cuts the brakes because I think he's from this area, and the Crusher just calls him, and be like, "How was Great American Bash? Yeah, you heard about your cousin? Uh-huh. Don't come to Milwaukee, like fuck. I'm
That'd be
not.
very that'd be a very interesting thing to watch.
Maybe you start booking Goldberg like a fucking idiot, huh? What do you think about that? You want to make it?
And that's what killed WCW, the Crusher.
He crushed him.
Exactly.
He's the type of guy that'll fucking. He's not a guy to fuck with. All right, he's the crusher, baby. All right, here we go. It's the Nation versus DX. It's a six-man tag: D'Lo, comma, and Owen versus Triple H and the New Age Outlaws. I will say this about Triple H is he's not as much of a "I'm going to fucking eat you up and spit you out" core like he is in his other matches. Straight back and forth. Owen Hart wins with the pedigree, and Triple H sells it, leaving. And you would think that this is going to be now, we're going to escalate the Owen feud with Triple H. No, no, it just moves to The Rock. Owen gets moved back down the card. Uh, it was fine. Again, a lot of these matches are like fine for house shows, fine to kill time, but they don't hold up. But this was fine. What did you think, Kyle?
Fine is the perfect word for it. They're doing the DX Nation feud. DX is hot, but they're not. They're it's not the Triple H that we know now. So he can take losses and he won't think twice about it. He's still a lot more comfortable taking losses and getting some momentum on the nation because as we know, this feud goes on for a little bit longer. Yeah, it was just fine. It was perfect word for it.
Yeah, fine. What do you think, critique?
Yeah, it was serviceable few, serviceable match. Excuse me. It felt like DX was kind of cutting like a face promo in the beginning. I don't know, like it didn't feel super heelish. So I feel like the Nation was more of the heels at this point, and then you have the DX Nation spoof that didn't already. I don't believe the spoof already happened yet, right? Or was that coming?
I think it's coming.
That's coming, yeah. So this is still going, yeah. It's just it's interesting because it felt like they were heels right after Mania DX, but they're kind of getting face reactions here. The crowd was into them, I remember, and as a kid, I remember that Nation spoof for sure. Match itself was fine. It definitely felt like a TV match. Today, this would be like a TV match, not really a pay per view match. So yeah, it was fine. It wasn't too long though, so that was good. There were a couple. They were cutting to some of the signs during this match. One of them was like China does Viagra or something. There were some weird ass signs. So
Oh, what a time.
love those time capsule signs that they had. They had another one that was Mosh and Thrasher show us your thingy. That was always I think that was right in the front row too. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that one too.
some of those signs, man, woof. But yeah, match was serviceable.
Yeah, it's fine. Now we get to the whole reason why you should watch this show. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love, Vince McMahon, the referee, Pat Patterson, the ring announcer, Gerald Briscoe, the guest timekeeper. The odds stacked against Stone Cold. He needs someone to have his back. Undertaker comes out for that. Match is fantastic. Stone Cold and Dude Love are kicking ass. I love all the little in jokes. The fact that the Briscoe brothers body shop has a car and the phone number for the business. There's all these little in jokes. Vince McMahon does a great job as the ref. Every time that you think the match is over, Pat Patterson changes the rules. It really does feel like Austin is not just fighting Dude Love, but he's fighting the entire company. These guys brawl on top of a car. Um, the finish comes where Dude Love is throws goes to hit Steve Austin with a chair. He hits Vince full force. I'm talking full full. Vince probably still. This is why this booking sucked a few years later because this fucking probably gave Vince a concussion he has to this day. Uh, this is why he's fucking booking Dean Ambrose to get shots in his butt because of this fucking chair shot. But then Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe try to get involved. Undertaker just choke slams these two old motherfuckers through a table, and I mean they just sell it like the rents do. Vince McMahon has said earlier in the show, by my hand only can the match end. Steve Austin takes Vince's arm and makes him count to three. Another great touch that happens this night on Raw is Vince McMahon used to narrate the highlights of like the pay per view in '96 and '97. Like last night, Shawn Michaels achieved his arm. Vince narrates the highlights of this match the next night and just goes ballistic. Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin cheated. The Undertaker assaulted Jerry Briscoe. This is like he like completely he and it just this match and the next night on Raw just gave the sense the company not just like Vince, but the company is going insane. Like this happy little like wrestling company that made you feel good is going fucking nuts. And I would love for them to recapture that. Whereas like you like the company's falling apart. Even though it's not, it feels like it's falling apart and made it so exciting. This match was great. This is the first time since Austin fell on his neck where he feels like the old Steve Austin. He's wrestling great. The dude love is taking bumps. I think this is one of the best WWF matches of 1998. And I think this is like peak attitude Austin. It's just everything is firing on all cylinders. The only reason I watch this show is this match. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's a fun match, very good match between the two, hard hitting. There's a loud and audible "Vince is gay" chant that happens in the match, which Jim Ross says I think Vince is dead or whatever he tries to cover up with, but that is not what they're saying. They just start chanting "Vince is gay" for the heck of it, I guess. But look, I don't know. I'm not getting into that either. But
I, Vince is like beyond sexuality.
yeah, I can see that. But I was very surprised the Undertaker that Pat Patterson took that choke slam. It was a violent choke slam too.
Yeah,
I mean that they were taking these bumps from the Undertaker. It just also shows how much trust they have in the Undertaker. But no, this was a good match, very fun match. I think they've been trying to recapture this moment since 1998, and they have not succeeded. I think it's one of those things you just can't capture. We've done so many authority things. We've done all this stuff. It's just never gonna be the same. You can do something, but it'll never be the same. But no, great showing for Austin, for Dude Love, and the summer is about to get even crazier now that the Undertaker is involved.
yeah, about to get really fucking crazy. Undertaker's about to open up himself as a real character. Critique your thoughts on this.
I mean, again, like it's every piece fits into place and everything is working. You have a good match that works technically. You have Dude Love, who's a good heel, good foil. You have Vince, who's also the heel. The Mr. McMahon character is working. People hate him. You have Austin. You have the babyface that's champion. People are happy that he's champion, and they're not just like, oh, well, now that he has the belt, it's kind of boring. Like no, you want to see your babyface maintain because the odds are stacked against him, and you actually want to see him overcome the odds. It's not like just oh, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre fighting for the 40th fucking time. Like it doesn't even though they had already wrestled on the pay-per-view, it still felt fresh because there was stipulations. I loved that fact that it was a false count anywhere. They were working with the set. Again, those Attitude Era sets were like, fucking Briscoe car and whatever. They're playing with the set, they're throwing each other on the set, like everything's working. You have Undertaker show up, you have the run-ins work, like every piece of the ensemble, every piece of the puzzle works. And you also set up a future match and a future encounter between Undertaker and Stone Cold for the summer. So everything worked from booking standpoint. Everything worked from a match technicality standpoint. I think it's it's. I wish the product today, not just WWE. I think AEW could take everybody could take a page from what we're seeing here.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's just but it's like I don't know. It's more now that I'm older. It's more impressive he did this with Patterson Briscoe. It's like this guy. I don't know. Briscoe's such a loser in real life. But
You're more of a Jack Briscoe fan, is that what it is?
I'll give him he's okay. I mean, it's just like they're beating WCW with this. It's really fucking funny. It's really because WCW has like they could just be putting on fucking New Japan, fucking Tokyo Dome classics every
Right.
week, and they're fucking it up left and right. And this company's winning with segments on the Crusher and Gerald Briscoe getting beat up by the Undertaker.
I
It's
mean, I think it's a testament, and AEW and other companies can take this lesson. While AEW storytelling has increased tremendously, good story, at least with American wrestling fans, are going to is 9 times out of 10 American sports entertainment fans is going to beat out just like good matches.
Mhm.
Like WCW had one of the best rosters in the world, that 1998 Revenge roster, as they call it. But then they would have some bullshit in the main event, and you're like, oh, I don't care. WWF had Steve Blackman versus Jeff Jarrett, but then the main event, you were glued to the seat, and you want to know what's going to happen next on Monday. So storytelling, Chris Jericho was just talking about this week. He's not my favorite person anymore, but characters and storytelling is key for at least American wrestling sports entertainment fans. Gotta be
Yeah.
very careful before they call me fed pilled and comments and all this other dumb
Fed pill. Oh
shit
my god.
that people
Yeah.
like to say now, that I'm not a true wrestling fan because I don't want to watch Lee Moriarty versus something on a
On
Wednesday
collision.
on Collision. Which I gotta stop making fun. I gotta stop making Lee Moriarty my base when I say this. He's a very good guy.
Evil Uno. I always use Evil Uno.
That's a good base. It's a good base too. I like Evil Uno also. I have nothing against either person. It's just the name that sticks out.
But this is the proof, though, like that you can have like all these 6-star matches, and you can have like these fantastic workers. But if you have a good storyline, you can win. You can become a $1 billion company with Gerald Briscoe. All right, and I know Steve Austin's there, and he's once in a lifetime. But I mean, Hulk Hogan wasn't fucking running around with fucking Ed Strangler Lewis, or Carl Gotch, like as his like in 1984 that he was fighting guys like his own generation,
Right.
and it's like Steve, like they really had no one to give Steve Austin, so they just like Vince did it himself and like entrusted that these two old pros can make it work, and they do. And I think that's what's so impressive to me. Like at the time, I don't know what I thought, but like rewatching is like everything's unwatchable until Vince McMahon shows up, and that's very impressive. And the reason why I like doing this podcast and going through these shows in order is that you pick up things where you're like, oh, Luthor was a better worker than they give him credit for. The Legion
Hmm.
actually stink. Oh, Vince McMahon it becomes a great fucking worker and character. Like to me, it almost feels like Vince would sit like in his car or in bed and like he'd be like the Mega Power storyline. Okay, well, what if I come and I take Elizabeth and then I beat them both? Like I think he always wanted to put himself in a storyline, but he never did it. And this was the perfect opportunity, and he's ready and willing. But I feel like he constantly like, well, what if I slam Andre the Giant, or what if? I think he always and he was like, no, I can't. I got to be the promoter. This was the moment to do it. This was the moment to do it, and he did it. So good for him. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And look, this is though, look at that's why I keep saying sports entertainment because some people do not want what's happening now. I mean, the mainstream audience seems to would want it. I mean, the AEW fans like what they like. They like the good wrestling, and they have very good wrestling. And like I said, the story is improved, but a really, really big storyline most of the time is going to beat out matches, and this is the proof. 1998, this Undertaker, Kane, Sable, and Mark Marrow, which was not even a match. All that stuff proves it. All that stuff proves it. If you can have a great story and a great match, even better. But sometimes just the story alone ends up beating out. Sometimes. Then you get Randy Orton versus Triple H, WrestleMania 25, which, ooh.
Home invasion.
Look, the story, people was peaked. They loved the story. And then
Yeah.
they got in the ring and, yep.
Well, all right. So that's the show. Let's keep going. Let's go over what's happening in the next 4 weeks. Next week it's Great American Bash '98, featuring Sting versus the Giant as your main event. In 2 weeks it's King of the Ring '98, historic show. It was Kane versus Steve Austin the main event, but then Mick Foley Hell in a Cell. In 3 weeks it's Bash at the Beach '98, featuring another historic main event, Dennis Rodman and Hulk Hogan versus Karl Malone and DDP. And then finally, in 4 weeks, it's Fully Loaded '98, Austin and Undertaker versus Mankind.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking forward to?
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say you said Great American Bash. I'll say that because I remember the other ones pretty well. I'm released the WWE ones pretty well. So let's see what's at Great American Bash.
Great American Bash. What about you, Pratik?
I'm definitely excited. This is my childhood coming to life, so definitely Bash at the Beach because I remember the main event, but I would like to go back and review that undercard as well. Looking back at the undercard, King of the Ring's undercard as well. I kind of want to go over. So yeah, I'm gonna say King of the Ring and Bash at the Beach.
And who do we give May to? WCW. Who had the better pay-per-view with May? WCW or WWE?
Oh,
Mm.
I'm gonna go with WWF, WWE because otherwise I contradict the thing I've been talking about for like 10 minutes about a good story.
I think the main event overshadows the horrible undercard. What about you, Pratik? I'm going to give it to WWF this month.
I'm still gonna give it to WWF because even with the whatever low points there were in this pay per view, there were still enough bright spots. Even in the undercard, like there's still moments that are memorable too. So I have to give it to WWF. But yes, I do think something needs to be said for WCW's undercard. They had these decent matches in the undercard, and they would just it would be like a lead balloon by the time the pay per view ends. So to me that's the real downfall of WCW is just the shoddy main events and the like. We're gonna punch you in the nuts by the end of this pay per view. You're cheering for someone, and we're gonna make you feel like a fool for cheering for them.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's the show. Kyle, what do you have to plug?
Character select comedy. I mean, the show isn't over, but our weekly run is going to be coming to an end. It's not a punishment. We just kind of did a little bit of experimenting, and we'll be back to March 7th. We have a show, and we're back April 4th, and return to doing monthly shows for a little bit. But it was fun taking over most of February and part of March, and now I get to rest a little bit and not have to
Yay, rest.
produce. Yes, and just do shows just for a little.
Just for a little. Okay, Pratik, what's your plugs, brother?
Yeah, I got a couple shows later this month. I'm on the road, but you can find all that out at Prateek Comedy, Prateek comedy.com. Also on my Instagram, which is at Prateek Comedy. Yeah, all my stuff is there. All my videos are there. My YouTube channel links are there. Support me, but also support you guys and keep supporting this podcast.
Yes. And for me, I'm gonna be. Am I gonna be? I'm gonna be in Orange County doing a show on Monday, so that's cool. But please follow the podcast, Goots' Wrestling Pod. Please follow me on Instagram, Ray Goots, and on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy. And next week, we're gonna see you for a Great American Bash. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thank you so much, everybody.